Do you have chores to do? Do you have bills to pay? Do you have a podcast to record but don't feel like doing it? Well, YMC is just right for you. Just one serving of your mom's chancla will get you right back on track and remind you who's boss. Your mom. Order now and we'll include a serving of your dad's belt for free. Order YMC today because all we're missing is your A. What is up, people? Been a while, huh? Hey, I've been busy. Fuck you. So I want to start off by saying I'm sorry. Okay, I'm so sorry. I know I've been slacking you guys, but I've been busy. I promise I've been working. And I'm gonna try to cut down on my ums too, because fuck that shit's annoying. Um okay, sorry. No, que la chingada. Ya, Roberto, cállate. Oh, reset. I'm keeping all this shit too. So it's like, don't think about the pink elephant. I'm thinking about the pink elephant. Okay. Been busy. Been busy. Not busy. Okay, I don't want to say that. I haven't been busy. Life has been happening. Let's say that. And I think I'm at a place now to where I can I don't want to say help people because I don't want to be like your savior has arrived. I don't mean it like that, but I know there's people are constantly going through shit. I feel lucky to have the support system that I have. My wife is the shit. I don't think I like. I don't know. Our relationship is the shit. You know, she's my soulmate, and we're there for one another. And oh boy, man, just wait till I tell you this story. I gotta have it behind me first. I'm still going through some of it, so you will not get to hear none of it. But just know, man, everybody, I understand everybody's going through something at all times, and this is just another test. Whatever that means. And a big shout out to my big bro too, man. God, man, like I have heroes, that I look up to that hopefully one day I'll meet. I have heroes that have passed away that I've never met, but I feel very fortunate. I feel very very fortunate that I actually get to speak to one of my heroes. My big bro. I consider him, not only like a big brother, but like like the closest thing to a father figure that I have. And sometimes you need that. And man, just big shout out to him because he has showed up and showed out. So thank you. Moving on. The fuck with the arms. No, I'm not sorry. Okay, I'm gonna put up with it. Okay, it's been a while. All right, I need to sharpen up. I understand what I need to do. Get the fuck off my back. Energy Fest. We are working on it. Moving on. I don't want to say shit about it. I don't want to say. I don't want to go into details. I don't want to go because that's something else that like it's in the process right now. And just know that we're working. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. That's just a fact. It's gonna happen. We're just getting all the pieces together, and I'm excited. I'm excited to create another option for people, for artists. Local artists, of course. Not like I know any fucking out of towners, but I'm excited to just create another option. That's all it is. This is not a competition, man. We're not approaching it like this. We're not, oh, we want to be better than this and this. We just want to provide another option. You know what I mean? And have it our way, you know? And why the fuck not? We're almost there, man. We're almost fucking there. So big shout out to my big bro again. Big shout out to Accurate. Big shout out to the artists that are, that are down with the movement. And fucking big shout out to me for being a fucking professional. God damn it. I'm okay, I'll stop there. Uh, if you guys only knew, and I will tell you guys exactly, the process once it's done again. But as of right now, nah, man, I'm not. I don't really like to talk about what I'm gonna do. I'd rather just show you, and then we'll talk about it. We'll have a conversation or whatever. So just hang tight, stay tuned. What else? What else do we got? Oh yeah. So another thing that I've been keeping my mind busy is, so a while back ago, I want to say a couple years ago actually. Haley, my daughter, she I asked her, because I keep on asking my kids uh here and there, but I'm trying to be consistent. I ask them like, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they'll tell me, whatever it is that they want to be. Like, okay, cool. I just want to kind of like keep them on their toes more than anything. And I remember one year, maybe like 2, 3 years ago, Haley had said that she wanted to be a YouTuber, and I'm like, okay, like I don't want to be like, go to college, like no, I can't be a fucking hypocrite. So ever since she said that, that was her answer for like uh quite a few times, and I was like, interesting. And I mean, I would feel like a fucking hypocrite if I were to tell her to be real and not follow that, because look at me with the music thing. I'm using myself as an example. Like, you really want to do something, you have a dream, do it. You know what I mean? When this shit takes off, I'm just gonna be an example to my kids and my nephews. You could do whatever it is you want to do. And so that got me thinking, like, I wonder what you need. And I would ask her, like, well, what is it that you want to do exactly? Like, do you have a plan? And one day, I think we spent like the whole morning just going back and forth, tossing ideas, and just like, okay, I was just like kind of picking her brain, like, where are you at with this? Are you serious about it? Um, and yeah, so she was like, yeah, I want to play PC games, and just what every other YouTuber does and stuff like that. And I was telling her like, okay, cool. You got to have something interesting about you. That way people keep on tuning in, and you got to be consistent. And the more I would talk to her about it, the more I was like, shit, man, this is exactly like the whole music thing, you know? Like what I'm experiencing, I'm basically telling her to do what I've been doing, and then more. And so that really got me thinking, when was it? Maybe like early this year. um we had that talk, and I was like, you know what, if I can figure out the technical part of it, like how to hook up the game console to the computer, to the TV, to the microphones, to the headphones, to the camera, like if I could figure all this out, would you, like, is this what you want? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. And she even told me she already had her name for her channel and everything. I was like, okay, okay, cool, cool, cool. So I was like, okay, let me see what I could do. And I started taking myself to school. I started going to the good old school of YouTube. And yeah, so I kind of started figuring out what it is that we needed, what I already had, what I can put together. And one day I was like, hey, I have this stuff. Okay, this is what you need. I have this. You need this. You have some birthday money. You want to invest in yourself? Get it. And the rest is up to me. And she was like, really? I was like, yeah. And she said, oh man, but that's almost all my birthday money. And I was like, hey man, how bad do you want it? And she said, man. And at that point, she said she was saving up for an Oculus. And I was like, look, you can go ahead and save for an Oculus, okay? And then what? Because that was one of her things. She said, oh, well, I want to make my YouTube channel using my Oculus. And I was like, okay, cool. I get it. But you got to remember, you're going to have to wait even more for that. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not shitting money at this point. So I'm not, I can't just get you a PC, get you the PC games, uh, get you games because she wanted to play like on the Xbox, on the Switch, all this stuff, and then get you an Oculus too. You know, so I was like, how about you do with what you have, and then you can get started now. As soon as I figure this out, we can get the ball rolling like now. And you know, she thought I didn't tell her to get it. I didn't pressure her to get it. You know, and I let her try to figure it out. Like, you know, if you want to, this is what you need. I think I could figure it out. So, you know, she thought about it and then she came back to me. She's like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do it. Go ahead, let's order it. All right, cool. She orders it. Now it's up to me to put the pieces to the puzzle together. And man, I was, you know, learning the software, learning the this and that, and how to, you know, all this stuff. So the plan was, at least for now, you know, you don't have a PC, you don't have an Oculus, but you have games on the Xbox, you have games on the Switch, and then you know, she wants to do little things here and there too. And I'm like, you could get started now, you know. No one says that in the future, you know, you can't, you know, when people ask you what you want for your birthday or for Christmas, you know, just ask them for money, and then you know, ya ahí completamos, you know, whatever it is that you want. So that was the plan, right? And so we got the rest of the stuff, and I started putting everything together. And I think it took, I want to say, probably like 2 days to like completely figure it out. And yeah, like we got it. And then you know, my son Idris, you know, he's seen what we're doing, and he's like, "Can I get a channel?" And I'm like, "Oh dang." And I'm like, "Yeah, you want one too?" "Yeah, yeah, I want to do this and I want to do that. I have some ideas." Like, okay, cool. So we're not pressuring them to do anything, you know. We don't want to be those types of parents, but we also want them to be able to scratch that itch, if that makes sense. I think it's really important to I forgot who said this. I think Killer I heard Killer Mike say this once. He said, you know, your greatest investments are your kids. You know, so whatever crazy idea they might come up with, whatever, you know, not crazy idea, maybe they'll go the traditional route with it, which there's no problem with that. You know, they want to go to college and they want to do this, you know, whatever it is that they want to do, be there for them. You know, they want to join a sport, be there for them. You know, because you never know how that's going to develop in their mind, you know, how their brain is going to take that in. And maybe, you know, they're like, I really want to be in basketball, dad. And you put them in basketball, and because you put them in basketball, they're like, I really want to be a math teacher, dad. You know, because they're like, fuck basketball. You know, you never know how it's going to affect them. And that's one thing that I've been learning as a parent, is that don't project yourself onto them. You know, let their mind create, let their mind run free. I'm not telling you to do this, I'm telling you what I'm learning. All right. And who knows what may come for them, you know. And the best thing is that you're there to guide them when they turn to you to guide them. You know what I mean? And it's awesome. It's awesome to see them, you know, get the wheels turning, and I want to do this and I want to just create. And I'm like, cool, man. So it's been really fun. And then we ended up doing a channel, you know, for the whole family, where, you know, it's like, hey, man, I like video games too. I want to do this. What is that? Okay, let's try that. And I'll leave the link to the family one, if you know, if you guys have kids maybe, and you know, they want to check it out and stuff like that, you know, because sí digo puras pinches pendejadas aquí, but you know, it's all in fun, you know. And people are frustrated right now, man. People are, they're not in the best spirits right now. And fuck, why lie, man? I'm one of them, you know. It's a roller coaster, but at the same time, my same intention that I have for the music, I have for everything I do. You know what I mean? As much as I say that I want to make a living off of this, I want to help people. You know, I just go to the store and I see the employees there, or I see other people shopping, and some of them don't seem like they're going through the best of times right now, and like I said, I'm not leaving myself out of this, you know and but I think there is a way, which goes into the whole, those are my intentions, you know yes, like I said, I know I just said this, but yes, I want to make a living off of this, but also I want to help people. I want to at least, if you take anything away from this, just know that it's not always going to be like this. Whatever it is you're going through, which is like the biggest thing to you, and then you turn and tell someone and they're like, "Psh, that's it, bro. Check this shit out." Blah 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 blah. And then they're like, "Okay, well, I mean that is, a shittier situation than mine, but I still feel like shit." Everybody like everybody has a right to feel however it is they're feeling. But also know that it's not always going to be like that, and if there's a way you can like distract yourself and laugh, that's why I love comedy. That's why I love stand up so much, cuz fuck, I need a laugh, you know? Like I really need a laugh. Like I need to shake this shit off, man. Like it's tough. It's a doozy, but family and finding something that you really love to do, I think that will get you over the hill. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, it's uphill, it's uphill, it's a challenge. But then once you see like, okay, I think I figured out, okay, if I do this all the time, it kind of distracts me a little, and it helps me approach the challenge a little bit different with a clearer mind, or with a different perspective, you know what I mean? And that's why I'm excited for, our YouTube channel. That's why I'm excited to help the kids out with their channels. That's why I'm excited for Energy Fest. That's why I'm excited for, the music that's to come. Because it can't always be like that, and I want to enjoy life. I'm done doing shit the traditional way. I'm fucking over it. I want to do things my way, and I understand that there's going to be work involved, a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, a lot of this, a lot of that, and no matter what you do, you're going to have to do it anyway. So why not do it? Put all your energy towards something that you really like to do, you know? I mean, it makes sense to me. It's just we're so in this pattern, the generations before us are like, no, chingate, güey. Y chingate, chingate. Ya cuando te vas a retirar, ya you're about to fucking die and shit anyways. Shit's whack, man. I'm done. I'm done surviving. I want to live. So that's where I'm at now. And just to let you know too, like, I know it's way easier said than done, and it took me a while. Why the fuck do you think I haven't put out a fucking episode? Cause I was down, man. I was down, but I mean, you can't always stay down. You know what I mean? And shit, why even say was? Ahorita ando medio ¿qué huele qué, güey? you know. But I was like, I think I can share, my experience to hopefully help someone that is feeling the way I'm feeling. You know what I mean? Just a little distraction, like, just right now I'm 18 minutes in. I don't know, maybe like half an hour of a distraction. You know what I mean? And then, hopefully you like me. I'm just playing. Fuck you. But yeah, man. Like, hopefully, we you can connect. Know that there's people out there um, that have challenges, man. Whatever it is that you're going through, we're all going through something, and you're not alone. You're not alone. Reach out to anybody. I've said it before. Reach out to me. Leave a fucking comment. Be like, man, I'm going through something, or I was going through something, and I did this, and that should help me. And hopefully, someone sees that, and maybe they'll try that, and it's pay it forward. You know what I mean? That's what I'm a big believer in that. Paying it forward. People give me good energy, so it's like, what? Let me put good energy, and that's my intention with everything I do. Podcast, the music, the shows, helping other artists. Like how like you know I've gotten this type of energy of like, how are you planning to help other artists when your name isn't even out there like that? And I'm just like, bitch, shut the fuck up. Watch me. Watch me. I'm not I'm different. But anyways, speaking of shutting up, let's go to our next sponsor here, Telosico. This episode is brought to you by Telosico. Do you wish you could tell that annoying coworker to fuck off? Or tell that certain family member to shut the fuck up without facing the consequences? Well, Telosico is just right for you. This extract from the I don't give a fuck bus plant is completely organic and environmentally safe. One spray of this and you'll be enjoying the sweet nothings coming out of people's mouths that annoy you the most. Hey Rob, I don't think you should charge artists to perform. Psh, spray. Hey Rob, I don't pay to play. Psh, spray. Act now and get this 1 ounce bottle for only $59.99. Just go to telosico.com, enter the code Puras Pendejadas to save absolutely nothing at all. That's code Puras Pendejadas and watch the magic work. Thank me later. All right. I want to share this story with you guys. I know I was kind of going in like chronological order and shit. And you guys can, do your homework, man. Just do a few clicks and shit, get to know me. But I'm gonna like fast forward a little, okay? And I'm gonna go to a time where I think it's safe to say that I was depressed, and I don't it takes a lot for me to get depressed, but at the same time, like I don't want to paint the picture of like it's because I'm tough, bro. I'm fucking numb. The world has made me callous. You know what I mean? I don't mean it like that. I just it's just like I do like these little checks on myself, like yeah, you estás medio aguitado, way, but you're not depressed, you know. But this situation here, yeah, I was down in the dumps, but it was you know, it almost had to happen, and that was the best example that I lived through to show me that it's not always going to be like that. We have highs and then we have lows and then we'll have highs again and then we'll have lows again. And we just got to be prepared. We got to be prepared and we got to understand that we cannot control anything except ourselves. That's the only fucking thing that we can control. And once we understand that, it makes dealing with the situation, I think, a whole lot better. You know what I mean? Because you just gotta let that shit go. Again, it's way easier said than done. And I had a hard time, even following this, recently. But once you zoom out, once you're getting kind of like, okay, everything is settling, the dust is settling. Once you realize that, it's like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm telling you, like, recently, like this past, just recently, let's just say recently, my world has been shooken up a few fucking times. You know what I mean? But again, this story here was the big story that, like, it's like the biggest experience that I was like, whoa, shit. You know what I mean? So, all right, let's go back, and we're going back a few years. So, my son wasn't born yet, and I think Haley was like, oh fuck, she was probably like 3. I think she was like 3 years old, right? Okay. And like I said, I'm just starting in the middle of nowhere. There's no like, remember when I said this, guys? No, so just try to follow along, okay? And I'll try to simplify this shit too. All right, so at this point, I'm working at a movie theater, okay? I'm working at a movie theater, and where the fuck were we living? We were living. Fuck. Let me try to remember. We were living. Fuck. You know what, guys? I'm not even gonna waste your time. I don't remember where we were living. Either we were at our apartment or I think we were living with my suegra. Okay. And at this point, I was working at the movie theater and I was trying to. Well, actually, I was applying to work for the city. You know, And so there was this one day, right? And I used to work at the movie theater, and it was back then when we had film. Well, it was like half film, half digital still. They were converting, but I did work with film. So I was trying to I was applying for these city jobs. I just got this idea, like, what, fuck it, let me, it should be, the jobs. I mean, you have a job with the city. I put it up on a pedestal, and I was like, yeah, man, let me fucking apply for, so I just started applying for things and stuff like that. And I got an invitation to test for one of the positions, right? Okay. So this was coming up or whatever. On this certain day, right? The day before I had the test, right? I had the test in the morning, right? Okay. So the night before I was working, right? So I was working my shift, and that night, okay, one of the projectors, it just went fucking haywire. It was the last showings. The last showings were running, and the projector went fucking haywire, right? And so basically, just the way the film would work is basically it was in a big roll, and that roll was on a big platter. Picture, like, those platters that they give you at Peter Piper, where they put the pizza on and shit, like, oh, be careful, and they put the paper plates under it. Okay, picture that, but fucking huge. Okay, big, like like your wingspan big. And so the projector would, like, you would feed the film or whatever, and it would unroll from the platter, go through the projector, do its thing, run over here, run over there through some rollers, and then you would connect it to another platter, right? So there was like three platters that were stacked. Okay, I know this is really hard to picture, but fuck it, Google it. And so then at the end, it would feed onto another platter. Okay, so one of the reasons why I was looking to leave the fucking theater was because it's same bullshit. You're at a job and you're like, hey, what the fuck, man? Trying to stretch you thin, and they're not paying, but they want you to do whatever the fuck, right? So I'm not saying that to complain. I'm saying that because the reason why everything fucked up, right? Well, not the reason why everything fucked up. The projector fucked up. The reason why it wasn't caught was because they had me working both projection and downstairs, the concessions. So I would start the movies and I would go down and work or whatever. Then I would go up and I would go down. So while I was downstairs, something happened to where it wasn't feeding onto the platter after it would go through the projector. Something happened to where it just, like, poof, it popped off, and it was just gathering on the floor. And it was just gathering and gathering and gathering. So we didn't go, till I was done, downstairs, whatever I was doing. I went upstairs, like, okay, started turning off the machines, the projectors. All right, this movie's done, this movie's done. And then I looked, and I was like, oh shit. There was a mountain, like, waist high of film. I was like, oh fuck, man, this thing messed up. And I was like, damn it, man, this thing's gonna take forever to fix, and we're already closing, and I had to test the next day, right? So I was like, damn it, man, now I'm gonna have to stay here all night, because it's happened. I've had it happen before, and it takes a long time because film tangles super easy. So I was like, damn it. So I told the manager, I was like, hey, this and this happened. And she's like, oh no. I told her, I can fix it, but it's gonna take a while. I told her, now what I can do is, I have a test tomorrow in the morning. I have to wake up early. I told her, can I just leave it here? Because we didn't open, like, the first shows weren't like until noon. Yeah, like 11, 12. Those were the matinees. So I told her, I have my test in the morning. Is it okay if I leave it like this, go take my test, then I'll come straight over here and then I'll fix it. And then she was like, and this is the manager, like the manager. And she's like, yeah, yeah, go ahead. Just leave it like that. And I was like, okay, cool. And I was like, damn it, man. Okay. So boom, you know, next day I go take my test. All right, cool, whatever. Then I show up. I show up and the manager's there. There's some people already there. And the manager comes up to me and she said, hey, this other manager from the other theater came and he saw what happened, took pictures and sent it to the general manager, like the manager of like all the theaters. And I was like, what the fuck? And she said, yeah, I don't think that's good, man. And I was like, well, that's messed up. Why the hell would he do that? Like, And she's like, I don't know. I think he's just being a dick and be like, ooh, look at what's going on over here. I'm telling. And so she's like, yeah, I don't think that's good. I was like, what a dick. Now I had about like 3 or 4 years of experience of projection. So I kind of knew what to do. You know what I mean? So, it was just very time consuming. And yeah, I fixed it. I fixed it up or whatever, by the first show, I think. Maybe we skipped the first show. I don't remember. But I got it going. And okay, so boom. So a few days later, I get called into the office. That a bitch. Pinche niño chiquito. So the manager calls me into her office and she's like, hey, Robert, you know what? So this guy that came to take the pictures or whatever, he told he sent the pictures to the GM. The GM sent them to the president, the owners of the company or whatever the hell, and they're pissed. They got pissed. They're like, you know why would they leave film out like that? And I was like, okay. And the whole time in the back of my mind, I'm like, bitch, you okayed this, so I'm not even worried about this. It was fixed. Like, come on. And she was just like, so they want me to do something about it, so I have to write you up. And I was like, skirt, excuse me? What? For what? And she said, well, I have to write you up for leaving the film like that. And I looked at her and I was like, you told me that was okay. I asked you. I didn't just leave it like that. You gave me the okay. And she said, I know, but I have to write you up. And I'm like, I'm not signing that paper. And she said, well, you have to. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I told her everything is fine now. I fixed it, you know? And then she's like, well, you have to sign this paper. I'm like, I'm not going to sign it. I'm not signing it. And she said, I told her, what's going to happen if I don't sign it? She said, well, I'm going to have to let you go. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? And she said, please don't have me do this. And I was like, I'm not going to sign it. And she said, please don't make me do this. And I was like, I'm not signing it. And that's that. And she's like, Robert, you have a baby. You can't just do this to yourself, and your family. And I'm like, yeah, but I have integrity. You know, I know I did nothing wrong, and you're telling me to sign something where it says that I have to accept that I did something wrong. Nah, I'm not doing it. And she said, so what are you going to do? I was like, then let me go. And she's like, really? And I was like, yeah. I got up. I walked out of that bitch and I never turned back. I was so pissed off, man. And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So at that point, that's why I was trying to remember where we were living at. Because yes, we had an apartment, but some shit happened. And I think, at this point, I think we were living with my suegra. But then I think we were living with my dad. I don't remember. But anyways, um, so I'm like, fuck, No, you know what? Yeah, we were living with my dad. So it was my dad. It was my dad. It was a 2-bedroom apartment, okay? And my dad had a room, and then I had a room, and my wife and Haley. And so it was my wife, Haley, me, and my dad in the apartment. And I would tell him the plan was when we got there, or whatever. Like, you know what? Let me just get back on my feet, and then we'll get a place of our own or whatever. He's like, yeah, sure, whatever. Okay, cool. And so that's what it was. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we would jump around. We would go like stay with my dad and then stay with my suegra. And so I was like, fuck. I saw my wife, you know, later on that day, or I called her, I don't know, but I let her know like I got let go. And she's like, "Why?" And I was like, "They wanted me to sign a paper." She's like, "Why didn't you just sign it?" I was like, "Because, man, fuck that." And yeah, at first I get her, but like I know what I did wasn't responsible, but it there's something to where, and I think it's integrity, unless you guys have a better word. But it's like you're telling me to accept something, to fuck, what's the word, to say that I did something that I didn't do, basically. It's like, no, I'm not going to do that, you know? And whether it was foolish of me of doing it or not or whatever, that's what happened, you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm not that, you know? So what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And it's like, you know what? I'll file for unemployment, whatever. I'm like, okay. So I filed. I was super fucking nervous. I had some money saved up, but not enough. And I told my dad what happened, and he's like, fuck. And he just like, what about the rent, motherfucker? And I told him, like, look, I have some money saved up, so I should be good for, I don't know, a couple months or something. And he's like, okay, cool. So, um, while that happened, I was putting all my faith, all my hope, all my money on the unemployment. You know, just let me get the unemployment and that's it. But reality fucking hit, like it just kicked me in the balls, man. And I was fucking bummed out. And I didn't know that I was getting depressed until I was already in it. And it is a shitty ass feeling, man. Shitty ass feeling. Every day, I was tired and I wouldn't even do anything. But I was like physically and mentally tired every day, every day. The only thing that kept me going was like my daughter and my wife. Like I had to like stay strong. Pero si estaba aguitado, güey. Si estaba aguitado. And then, my sister would come in from time to time and stuff like that. And, just hang out and um, we'd watch movies together, but it was a very, very difficult time, man. Very difficult time. Felt like a fucking failure, and I'm like, come on, motherfucker. I have I have a kid. The fuck were you thinking? Just sign the fucking paper. But hey, man, what are you gonna do? You know? And so I had an appointment, right? It was like a phone interview, and they're like, okay, so you're filing for unemployment. Yes, okay. We need you on this call. It's like a three-way phone call, whatever, at this time. Okay, cool. Now I'm nervous. My mind isn't all there. I'm fucking depressed. I have all these negative feelings, man. Like, ugh, I'm just loathing in it. And then, so the day comes, right? I remember the Olympics were going on too. But anyway, um, I had this appointment, right? Like I gotta get on this fucking phone call, whatever. Oh shit, okay, it's time. I get on, and they're like, "How can we help you?" or something like that. Like, "Oh, I have a phone interview or whatever it is," and they're like, "Oh, that was, I think they said like an hour ago or 2 hours ago," and I'm like, "What? No, 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 no." They said, and I had it written down and everything, and they're like, "Yeah, that's and then they said like Eastern time or Central time, and I was like, and my fucking balls dropped to the floor with my stomach. I was like, no. So I fucking missed the interview because I didn't pay attention to the fucking time zone. And that I basically just shot myself in the foot, and they just denied my whatever the fuck it is, claim. I don't know what the fuck you want to call it. They just, boom, decline. Dude, that shit just like, I was already feeling like shit. And that shit just fucking stamped it right there. And I was like, bitch. So, um, I was really, really bummed out. I didn't feel like doing anything. Like I said, I was physically tired from the moment I woke up to the moment I fell asleep. Um, I really needed family at that time, without me knowing it, of course. But it was really fucking tough, man. It was really fucking tough, and finally, oh, I remember. So, just sidebar. While during that time, right in the pits of it, um, my sister was over one night, and we were, I don't know if they had it on TV or if I already had the DVD, but we were watching Richard Pryor, the live in concert, right? And I had seen it before, but it had been a long time. And I told my sister, I was like, "Have you seen this?" And she's like, "No." I was like, "Oh, dude, we gotta watch it," you know. And so I was just trying to, like, keep my sanity, my fucking, like, give me some positivity, man. So we popped that in, dude. When I tell you, we were laughing like uncontrollably, like we were crying of how much we were laughing. Like, it was just what I needed, man. It was just what I needed. And I think because of that moment, that's why I hold, Richard Pryor so near and dear to my heart, because he helped me. He helped me, like, at least for that hour, like, just forget about my problems. And, you know, did it take me out permanently? Did it do this? Did it do that? I don't fucking care. Probably the answer is no. But for that length of time, however long that video is, I forgot about my problems. And, you know, that's why I love him. Like, he's one of my top, favorite comedians of all time. Um, so, during that time or whatever, finally, I forget what happens, but I'm just down on the dumps, and like 1 month passes by, 2 months pass by, 3 months pass by, and around the second month, um, I start, like, oh, that's what it was, because I was like, fuck, I'm running out of money. I'm running out of money. Oh, you know what it was too? I was trying to save up for, some money for Haley, in her savings or whatever, but I felt like shit. That was another thing that made me feel like shit. I was taking out of her account, and yeah, man, it was tough, man. It was, you know, it was a doozy. And so then I started applying for jobs. I don't remember exactly where I applied, but one of the places I applied was a call center, and I was like, man, I remember thinking, man, I would never apply for a fast food job again or a call center, because I hear they're not that fun. They're not that great. Plus, I don't know how to type. But I was like, you know what? Desperate times, desperate measures. So fuck it. Let me go apply. And yeah, I went to go apply, and they have you doing this typing test. I estoy con los pinches two index fingers fucking typing and shit. And I passed it. I got a decent score. They called me back, I think, or they held me there because they saw my score, I think. They gave me an interview, and then boom, they gave me the job. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing here, man. That, and then they're like, you need to come dressed like, like in slacks and shit. I'm like, fuck, now I gotta go buy clothes, because I don't have that type of shit in my closet. So I had to go, buy that with what money? I have no idea. I don't remember, but it fucking happened. And yeah, I got a job at the call center, and this was this was 2013. Yeah, so Haley was 3 years old. This was, when was this? This was, I'm trying to remember, August, September, October. Let's say this was in, fuck, I'm trying to remember. This is like late in the year. This was probably like in September or October. Yeah, something like that. Or maybe August. Yeah, let's just say September. So this was September 2012. Okay. Damn, then Haley was two. Fuck. So then um I get the job, right? And I don't know how the fuck I'm typing, but I'm getting it, you know? I'm getting it and I'm telling my wife, I fucking hate this job. I want to get out. I want to get out. I want to get out. And then you know, she's like, "Well, why don't you apply somewhere else?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess so." You know what I mean? Like, so I start going on this mindset. Once I got the job, um, I was too busy learning, and I think that's what got me out of my depression because I was just happy to be bringing in income. You know what I mean? And um, I was I was getting it. You know what I mean? I wasn't enjoying it, but I was getting it, and the whole thing that was driving me was just my, Haley and my wife. I gotta get them out of here. I gotta get them out of here. We gotta get our own place. We got fuck this, and then my wife would tell me like, living with your dad, it's kind of weird. It's kind of awkward. Like, Haley kind of goes up to him, but he's kind of like, oh, the baby, go over there, he's a fucking asshole, man. Like he was too focused on his life, his how do you call it? What's the opposite of an accomplishment? Whatever that is, his failures. You know what I mean? He was too focused on his life, and yeah, it was kind of fucked up to see how he would just like, okay, all right, and he would like go into his room, close the door, and shit. Yeah, it was fucked up, guys. Um, so that's why we would go back and forth between my suegras and then my dad's apartment or whatever. So I'm living here and then working at the call center, not liking it, but I'm like, okay, this will get us by. Then I'm also applying for different jobs now. At this point, after talking to my wife and everything, I was like, okay, I'm in like search mode. You know what I mean? Applying everywhere. Every fucking place would ask for like experience. I don't even remember where. I just remember like, God damn, man, like the fuck. And then like, or a degree, some type of degree or some type of like college hours, even, like, you know, did you at least step foot in a classroom, like, no, sorry, get the fuck out of here, basically. So it was just like, God damn it, man, I gotta keep on looking, gotta get, where else, where else, where else, where else? And so then fuck, I forgot what it's called, but there's this time of the year which is the holiday season, right? So I was working at this call center, and they were contracted by FedEx. So I wasn't a FedEx employee, but we would work for FedEx. We were the customer service, right? Fucking shit job, man. I fucking ugh, wakala. So then they're saying we're in it. But the way it happened was in October, there were promotions going around. And they're like, hey, if you guys want to join. And it was basically like an escalations department, And what that was that's where you get transferred, whenever you request to speak to a manager. So when you request, where you're like, basically like, where the fuck is my package, motherfucker? Hey, sir, keep it down, please. And, oh, let me speak to a manager. Okay, you would get transferred to this department, right? That's what they were promoting for. Yeah, it was a little raise, and I was like, fuck it, maybe I could save up and get a place quicker. So I applied for it. This was in October, okay? So then the whole month of October was training. And I'm like, okay, I kind of get it. It was something new, but I was like, okay, cool. And then they have us, screening calls next to people that already work in that department too. And I was like, okay, I think I got this shit. So then October ends, right? Boom. At the beginning of November, they throw us out. And when I tell you they throw us out to the wolves, they just fucking throw us out. So this whole group of brand new trainees get thrown out, right? So while we were training and what is it called, like ghosting or whatever, training next like side by side with the people that are already working that job, you see the phone, right? The phone has a little display and it tells you how many calls you have, you know, what is it called? Like waiting for you, basically. And you would see, and sometimes it'd be five, sometimes it'd be 10, 15, 20 is like, all right, wait, no mames, wait, it's fucking busy. You know what I mean? So, like, okay, cool. That was the average. Wouldn't go above 20. So then they throw us in there, right? And first of all, we're not, we don't like, we're in our own area where it's just us. We're not with the people that we were, training with. So we can't like get up and walk, because we were kind of far away from them. And so they just like, boom, okay, log in, guys. All right, there you go. You see the queue? That's what it was. It was a queue. You see the queue, how many calls you had waiting? It was like 75 to 100. And I was like, ugh, what the fuck? And the first call I get is horrible, horrible from my end and the fucking customer, which way they were mad. They were mad, and rightfully so, because their package was lost. And it's one thing to like train for it, but once you get your hands on it, fuck, man, I was a mess. And the thing is like I have questions, and I would turn to like my coworkers, and they're like, I don't know, and they're going through their own drama. So we were just like the blind leading the blind, and it was so frustrating, man. That month sucked, but like I don't even want to say que me sirvió para aprender. It was just very frustrating. I did not catch on right away. I had plenty of questions, and then so they screen your calls, right, every so often, and then the person that screens your call pulls you to the side and like, hey, this is where you slacked it. Hey, que pues, way, you know what I mean? And I was used to before being like, hey, good job, Robert, you're doing pretty good. Like, cool, thanks, man. To like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, bitch, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, training said this would happen, this and this, but they never said none of this shit. So, that first month was really, really tough. And the calls just kept on growing. The queue, it just kept on growing. I don't remember the number. I just remember like clocking in every day, logging in, and just seeing that number being like, fuck. So it was super intimidating. Meanwhile, I'm applying at different places. December hits, right? I'm trying to remember what the fuck they call this time, but it's the holiday season or whatever. Oh, peak season. That's what it is. It's peak fucking season, okay? And they're like, "Yep, welcome to peak season." And I'm like, "What's that?" And they point at the phone like, "Look how many calls you get. Like this is how it is." And it's just like, "Where's my package? Where's my package? Where's my package?" Like, "Oh shit." Finally, by the grace of God, I kind of get the hang of it. So I'm doing okay. I'm not liking it though. I am not liking it, but it did teach me how to deal with people. That department, that position was called the escalations department. So I learned how to de-escalate people. You know what I mean? Oh, they would come in, you know, they would like beep, I got this customer here. This is their tracking number. This is their information. They said this and this and this. Okay, you ready? And we would say like, yeah, go ahead, bring them on. And then like, they would be fucking pissed. They would be on 10, and they were like, where the fuck is my package? This and this and this and blah blah blah. Okay, sir, or okay, ma'am. And I would just let them vent, let them vent, let them vent till it got really awkward, and I would just stay quiet, and they would be like, "Hello," and I'm like, "I'm here." They're like, "So where's my package?" And I'm like, "Okay." And that's the best thing. That's how you de-escalate people. Some people don't handle it very well. Some people like, "Why are you being a dick? Talk to me." You know. Um, but for the most part, it works. And so I get this. These. I remember getting this one phone call, and this lady was like, and it was really close to Christmas. Actually, a few days before Christmas, and she was pissed off, right? Oh, and then they would get pissed off too because they would say, "You're the manager," and I'm like, we had to say that we weren't the manager. Like we couldn't say, "Yes, I'm the manager," even to shut them up. No, you had to say, "No, I'm not the manager. I'm in the escalations department, but I can go ahead and help you." Dude, they would lose it. They would lose it. Why the fuck am I requested to speak to a fucking manager. Who the fuck are you? Are you even what branch are you in right now? Right? And like I'm not in a branch. Well, where are you? Um are you even in, like whatever? Are you even in fucking I don't know. Are you even in Florida? No, sir. I'm in Texas. Even more. They would even lose their fucking mind even more, man. But we were obligated to let them know, like, no, but I can help you out. So after, bringing them down, sometimes sometimes the package would just get lost, or sometimes we would find them. It was really, it was like yeah, there was no telling. And so I remember this one time, it was really close to Christmas, and this lady was like, I was like, "Ma'am, your package is delayed, plus there's a snowstorm. It's not going to get to you by Christmas." And she's like, "But it has to. It's for my son. You can't do anything. You can't expedite." I learned that word at that job, expedite. Everybody wants their fucking package expedited. So she's like, "Can you expedite it? Can you expedite?" I was like, "No, sorry, ma'am, I can't." And she would just like give me a little plea, like, "Please, can you please help me? Oh my God, this is so frustrating. I promised my son I was going to get him this and blah, blah, blah." And I wasn't budging because there was nothing I can do. It was impossible. I told her, I was like, "You're going to get it. I'll go ahead and make a note here. That way they can, do what they can, but you're not going to get it by Christmas." Finally, she just had it, and she's like, "Well, thanks a lot." I think she was white too. "Thanks a lot. You just ruined little Timmy's Christmas." Click. And I was half laughing inside, of course, and half like, I gotta get the fuck out of here, man. Because every fucking day from when I would clock in or log in to where I would log out, it was just shitting on me, just shitting. And I was like, oh my God, I felt like a fucking punching bag, And over the phone, people get really fucking ballsy. So I was like, man, fuck this fucking job, right? So then I kind of get a little good at it, and then peak season ends. Boom, right after fucking Christmas, it calms down. Fucking calm as shit, averaging, 20, 10 calls on hold, 5 calls back, And I was like, oh shit. And I remember them saying the whole peak season, they didn't tell us that until like really close to Christmas, because we're like, what the hell, man? Like, is this what you guys go through? And they're like, hey, man, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. It wasn't until close to Christmas that they're like, welcome to peak season, and so they knew what they were doing, And that's the thing about these fucking companies. They're like, you know what? Let's put it out there. Let's dangle the money in front of them, train them in October, throw them out in November, December, and then if they want to fucking go back, then they'll go back. But we use them, and that's what it is. You're getting used. They need to fill in these spots, and you feel hoodwinked. You feel like you fell for it, and it's like, man, fuck this shit. So I'm looking, right. I'm applying to different places, and I was talking to one of the guys. He was like a manager, something like that, and I had gone to high school with him. And he's like, "Hey man, you're doing all right, and this and that." We were screening some calls that I had, and I was like, "Cool, okay." Um, and I don't know, we were talking or whatever, and then he said, "Man, you're gonna be ready for peak season this year." It was already like January, February, or January, I think. And then I looked at him and I was like, "I'm not gonna be here for next peak season." And he looked at me, he's all, "Yes, you are." And I was like, "No, I'm not." And he looked at me again and he said, "Yeah, you are." And right away, like it clicked to me. It's like the whole my dad thing, you know how he said that I was gonna come back home and all this shit, I was gonna fail. If you haven't listened to that, go back and listen to it. It's the one where I think I titled it like getting kicked out or something like that. So it brought me back to that feeling of like, oh, you think I'm gonna be here? Watch this. I was already applying at places, and so the next, ay way, ay me asusté, way. Oh, I thought my computer stopped recording. Um, So wait, can you guys hear? I hope you guys can hear me. Man, this is gonna suck if I have to start over. Hello? Okay. Anyways, fuck it, I'll keep going. Um so I was like, watch this shit. So I just, kept on applying at places or whatever. Really not really applying, just looking, you know? Looking and being like, what do I want to do? I don't want to just be a slave and shit. So I was, doing that shit or whatever, and that just fueled the search more, like this motherfucker really thinks I'm gonna be here now. Fuck that shit. Watch me. you know? So I applied for this job at GCU. It's a credit union here in El Paso. And I get it, and I remember telling them like, you know, this is gonna be this date is gonna be my last day. And when I told him that, he looked at me. He said, and no, he didn't say anything, but I told him I was like, "Hey, on this date is gonna be my last day," and he looked at me, and I don't know if he was gonna say something, but if he did, I beat him to it, and I told him, I looked at him and I said, "I told you I wasn't gonna be here peak season," and he just looked at me and smiled. I was like, "Yeah, that's right, motherfucker." Oh man, that felt so good. That felt so good, and yeah, man, my last day, I was like, I got everything set up. I already, the next day, I was gonna start training for that other job, and the my last day at the call center was super. Like I wouldn't talk to people like that at work. I really don't. I mean, I talk to people, but I don't really like hang out with people like outside of work. And so it was just like people that knew me was like, "Oh shit, it's your last day. All right, man. See you later," or whatever. Like, yeah, okay. Work my shift, whatever, whatever. Clocked out, and I was like, "Fuck this job," and that's it. That was that for that fucking job. So I get this other job. So this was now. Let me see. Let me see. 11. Okay, this might have been like April, around there. So now it's like, okay, I've been at this job for what? Let's say August, September, October, November, December, January, February. Yeah, let's say like March. So I was at the call center for like 6, 7 months, right? So and I had enough. I think I even aged working in there. Fucking sucked. So then I started working at GCU. That job fucking sucked too, man. That job, I think the most unpleasant thing about it, I was a teller, right? Entry level. I was a teller. And two things that basically like really that I just didn't like about the job. One is that you're standing. You know what I mean? You're just standing still the whole fucking time. The system is super complex, man. It is super complex. Just to make a withdrawal, like people will come up and be like, "I want $20." Dude, you had to have like three fucking programs open. Check this one, check that one, then go back to it, this and this and this and this. And then people are just staring. You have them like right in front of you, and they're just staring at you like, what the fuck is taking so long? You know what I mean? And I'm just like, so physically, you're just standing there, but your mind is going. It's just going, 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 trying to figure this shit out, figure it out, figure it out, figure it out. So that got old quick, very quick. And then what I learned was like, on busy days, the line would get like super long, and you're over here like, like, okay, you gotta do this, click over here, click over there. You're looking at the screen. You would take a break and you would look up and look at that long ass line. Every single set of eyes are staring directly at you, or at least that's what it felt like. And it would just break you. It would break you. So you would like, huh, And then you would look back at the screen. It's like, where was I? Oh shit, there's people staring at me, and it would break you. So you'd have to like regain your composure and be like, okay, okay, I have to, okay, I have to, okay, da, 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 here we go, this and this, and then people want to talk. It's just like, shut up, like I don't care. Let me give you your money so you get the fuck out of my face, or deposit your check, or whatever it is that they needed. That and the fucking what I forgot what they would call it. I think it was like selling or upselling, something like that. And that was basically just um like at the end of the transaction or whatever, you'd have to give them a pamphlet, and you'd have like different ones to choose from. And so they would be like, you have to make sure you cross sell or some shit like that. So like, oh, here you go, by the way, if you're interested in a GCU credit card, or hey, by the way, if you're interested in a home loan or auto loan or whatever, like you had to do that, you know what I mean? Or they would go by and be like, good job, Robert, yeah, let's give it up for Robert, like, shut up, bitch. And I would hate to do that, and I wouldn't do it, you know, because it's just like, some of the customers are like, that's where they would go all the time. So it's like they're used to it. Like, I just gave you one of these last week. you know it was just very cringe. So uh I thought at that point, I'm like, you know what, this is a decent job. I work at a bank, money, I'm around money. But nope, you're around money, you're counting all this money, and none of it is yours. And I quickly understood that point, and I was like, I don't like this. I'm counting other people's money. It's just like, I don't like this. And then God forbid you had to go to the restroom, because you would have to, like, okay, I'm gonna, and they would see you leave your station, your register or whatever, and like, where you going? Hey, where you going? I'm gonna go to the restroom. And they would look back at the lobby and like, uh, okay, all right. And ya nomás les faltaba que te decían, hey, but hurry up, dude. Better make it quick, And I would look at them like, shit, man. So I wasn't really looking for a job there, but there was a situation where Haley got really sick. She got really sick one day, and I don't think they had sick days, so you couldn't really call in sick. And I think my wife, I forgot what the fuck happened, man. I really don't remember. But point was, the next day I was like, I think we were at the hospital like really late, and I was like, I can't make it to work. My daughter's sick. I don't know if she had to stay the night. I don't remember. But anyways, I couldn't make it, you know. And I think I called them. I don't remember. I think I called them the day of, like, hey, you know what? We had an emergency. I can't make it. Blah blah blah. Whatever. And they're like, okay. And that was it. I'll take the doctor's note. Whatever. If I have to make up a day, I'll make it up. But yeah. So the next day, I go to work, and they had to have a talk with me. And I was like, well, here's the doctor's note. Like, no, yeah, we understand. So basically, it was these two managers, right? A girl and a guy. The guy was very easygoing. He didn't like conflict a lot. He was very soft spoken. But this fucking bitch, man, she basically told me, she was like, when my kids get sick, my husband takes them to the doctor. My husband goes to the parent teacher conference meetings. My job comes first. That's basically what she was telling me. And I was like, so you're telling me how to run my household? Like, you don't know my situation, and I don't see why I have to explain my situation. And she was just like, hopefully, basically, we hope it doesn't happen again. And maybe, I don't know if you have family that can step in and this and that. And I was like, the fuck? I was like, no, at that situation, I'm trying to remember, but I don't want to drag this on. I don't remember what happened, but basically, it's like, no, I'll take her, or I was the only one. And, or I don't know, so it was really scary. I don't remember. But the point was, I was like, in my head, I was like, I don't like this shit. Like, she's basically telling me how to run my household. Basically telling my wife, she's basically wanting me to tell my wife, like, hey, pues ahí te las averiguas, but I gotta go to work. Which I kind of get, but the way she delivered it, I was like, nah, fuck this. So I started looking for another job, right? Or I think the whole time I was looking for a job because I learned very quick that I did not like that job. So I was looking and looking and looking, and I wasn't really getting anything. Now it went, what did I say? If I got it like in March, April, so it was like June, July, August, September, October. Yep, that sounds about right. And then October, I get a fucking call. I get a call for an interview. Guess where that interview was to? A fucking city job. The same city job that I had applied for while I was working at the movie theater. They called me and I was like, oh shit. And at this point, we were living with my suegra at my suegra's house. And I remember calling my wife and like, babe, they called me. They called me from this the city job, this and that. What? And so yeah, I interviewed, and you know, I was like, hell yeah, I'll take it. I took the job, and I told the fucking bank to fuck off. And yeah, man. And I was like, how fucking crazy is this? So in 1 year's time, almost, I had I had three jobs, and from that job, we were able to get our was it our no our technically officially our second place, you know, the infamous duplex. Yeah, man. From then on, it was like, all right. And I remember making a promise to myself of like, because the whole time I would tell Haley like, I'm gonna get you your own room, mama. I promise you, I'm gonna get you your own room. You're gonna have your own room. You will have your own room. The whole time I'm going through all this shit, I'm like, you will have your own room. Because she was growing into that. She's always been very bright. So at 2, 3 years old, I was like, I know I cannot slack because she's gonna start noticing shit. You know, she wanted. I know she's gonna want to be able to decorate her room. Have her own space. And so I would tell her like, you're gonna have your own room. I promise you, you're gonna have your own room. And when we got the duplex, I was like, remember, I told you were gonna have your own room. Now you have your own room. And she's all, I remember, Dad. I remember. And I remember like we didn't have any furniture or anything like that, but I remember, and she always tells me this too. uh, we were moving in, right? We didn't. Were we moving in? It was one of our first days at the duplex, and we were in her room, and we were watching a movie on a tablet, right? And we were just sitting on the floor in her room, and I think she just had like her bed, and we're eating ramen soup, and I remember telling her, remember this mom, because we were just like we're watching the video, the movie or the show or whatever. And she was like, I have my room, Dad. I have my room, and I could look out the window, and your guys' room is over there. And she was 3. And I was like, I know. Remember I told you? Remember I told you? I told you I was going to get your own room. And I looked at her and I told her, I'm going to get you your own house next. And she's all, really, Dad? I was like, yeah. And then that's when I started explaining to her renting and owning and stuff like that. I told her, next, I'm going to get you your own house. And she's like, wow. And I'm like, just give me time, but it's going to happen. And I told her, but remember this. Remember this moment right here, okay? Because remember how it wasn't always like this, okay? Remember when we were at grandma's? Remember when we were at grandpa's? And she's like, yeah, I remember, Dad. And I was like, remember this, okay? It's possible, okay? Remember that it's possible, and I'm glad you're happy. And she's like, I will, Dad. I will. And yeah, you know, randomly through from then till now, there'll be like random times where like she'll tell me like, and she'll get me, she'll get me good with that. She's like, remember dad? Like as she would grow, she would tell me like, remember dad when we were eating ramen in my room at the duplex? And I'm like, yup, yup. Especially when we got the house, you know. When we moved out of the duplex, we got another place too, and but she would randomly remind me like, remember dad when you would tell me, and remember when we were eating ramen in my room? I'm like, yeah, I remember that. Remember? So, oh man, I remember that so much, and I was like, good, good, and yeah, man. So and that's where that story ends. And by the way, like my first couple of days, right, at working at this city job, I'm like, I fucking made it, you know. I fucking made it, man. I have a job here with they have benefits and they have sick leave and vacation time and fucking pension and all this shit. I'm like, fuck yeah, you know? So like my first few days or I don't remember, first week or two, they're like, "Hey, so where did you used to work at?" And I told them I was like, I used to work at GCU, and they're like, at the bank? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, why did you leave that for this? And I was like, uh, it was fucking awkward. And I was like, for a better opportunity. And then they're just like looking down, shaking their heads. They're like, shit. And I was like, oh man, are you fucking kidding me? I was like, ah, great. Just when I thought, like, Mama, I made it. Nope. But I'll save that for another story. Um, but yeah, man, I just want to, I wanted to tell that story because, like I said, I don't feel right now is the time to talk about what I'm going through now. I want it to be behind me, kind of like that story. That story is behind me already. It happened, went through it, got out of it. Yeah, it was rough, but everything is a circle. You're gonna have highs, you're gonna have lows. You just gotta prepare yourself. You gotta mentally be there, man. And like I said, man, shout out to my wife, and shout out to my big brother, man, because um, I'm just lucky. I'm super lucky. You know what I mean? You know, uh, I'm just lucky. Let's just leave it at that. I said what I said at the beginning. And yeah, man, so just keep your head up. I'm basically talking to myself here. Keep your head up, stay focused, do what you want to do. The opportunities are better now in these times that we live in. I'm gonna sound like a fucking broken record, but you guys, we need to realize that there's opportunity out there, and this traditional way of living life isn't the only fucking way. There's other fucking ways. Let's follow that. Let's link together. Let's work together. I don't want to say unite because it's gonna sound corny, but we can help each other get to our goals. If we link up. Fuck this fucking ego. You know what I mean? And with that said, you know, I will be dropping this shit whenever the fuck I want to. And keep your head up, man. And we'll see you later.